presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And this afternoon from Cincinnati and the Great American Ballpark. Game number 4. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Cincinnati Reds. With the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here as well. The Cardinals trying to shake things up with their lineup. Get something going. Matt Carpenter will stay at the top. Dexter Fowler bats second today.
Yeah, you can see they're twisting up this lineup a little bit. You got to move it around, but you really can't break it. Bend and move and try to move some pieces around, but you don't really want to send a message that you're panicking. So try to do a little something different today. Mike Leake, hopefully he can go out there and make quick work of the Cincinnati Reds.
Cardinals trying to avoid the sweep. They're trying to pick up one win on this road trip. The former Red, Mike Leake, gets the call today for St. Louis. Leake and the Cardinals coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Beautiful day on the banks of the Ohio here in Cincinnati. The Great American Ballpark. Cincinnati now a game and a half in front of St. Louis. The Cardinals have dropped 6 straight, and with that, 4.5 games back of Milwaukee. The Cardinals lineup features Matt Carpenter at the top, then Dexter Fowler, the switch hitter, Stephen Piscotty, Jed Jerko, Yadier Molina, Tommy Pham, Aledmys Diaz, Paul DeJong, the rookie, and Mike Leake, the veteran. It's Scott Feldman. He was the opening day starter this year for the Reds, getting the call today. A look at his Hyundai pitch arsenal, the cutter, fastball, curve, and change. Feldman, a big guy, 6'6", 230 pounds, signed a 1-year deal in the offseason. Last year, worked both as a starter and reliever, split time with Houston and Toronto, went 7-4. And as I mentioned, the opening day starter for the Reds. The umpires today calling the balls and strikes will be Bill Welke, Chad Fairchild at first, David Rackley at second, and the crew chief Alfonso Marquez down at third. Matt Carpenter, a .295 career hitter from the top of the lineup. On the year, a .210 average, couple of hits in this series. He was on base twice last night, including a home run. His first extra base hit in 57 at bats. And the 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. 73 degrees here in Cincinnati. In the mid 60s last night. The 2-0 pitch.
Saw the pitch arsenal with Feldman, and already just cutters more than, not very often do you see cutters more than the fastball. Guys are going to throw cutters, move the ball around. You can see that velocity is not anything special, but the inconsistency of the cutter and the fastball make it just a little tough to get a good read on how you're going to approach a guy like this.
Three and 1 the count. Hitters count here for Carpenter. Outfield is straight away. And it's 3-2. The idea for the Cardinals when they signed Dexter Fowler is that you'd have Fowler at the top, then Aledmys Diaz, and then Matt Carpenter. The Plaza Tire Service Fox tracks. So all three a year ago, high on base percentage, but the Cardinals having to change some things up, trying to get it going. Carpenter, a ground ball into the shift. And there's one away. That was your third baseman, Scooter Gennett, today with that shift. The right side of the infield. 27 errors committed by the Reds, second fewest in the National League. Around the Horn presented by Dobbs. Duvall, Hamilton now with 6 outfield assists to lead the National League. Schebler's in right. Jeanette, Cozart, Peraza, Votto on the infield, and Tucker Barnhart splitting time with Devin Mesoraco gets the start today behind the plate. So today breaks a streak of 240 consecutive starts as a leadoff hitter for Dexter Fowler. And it's no balls and 2 strikes.
I wonder for him if that's different going backwards as it would be for someone going up into the order. I think being the leadoff hitter, making the adjustment to go to the top is a heck of a lot harder than it would be to drop down.
Responsibilities a little bit different in that role too.
And just the anxiety of leading off the game, I think, is tough. I remember back in the day doing that a couple times, and it's your last 20 minutes. All you can think about is that at bat.
Strikeout of Fowler, the cutter. And there's 2 away.
It's a good look at that cutter right there. It's not a big cutter. It's almost like a football. You've got throwing that ball, just hold it a little off center and kind of throwing it. And basically what he's trying to do is just have another pitch that's not going to run away from the hitters. And now he's got something that will run or stay straight to the lefty.
Here's Stephen Piscotty. Since May 31st, the Cardinal outfielder batting .417 with 7 walks and reaching base in all 8 games that he's played in. Last night was the first time this year he's had back-to-back multi-hit games. And a nice interview with Jim Hayes on the pregame show. 1-2. Outfield is straight away. And the 1-2 pitch. Struck him out. Check swing could not hold up. And Barnhart applies the tag. The former Red, Mike Leake, to the mound when we come back. Move to the bottom of the first. Mike Leake, the Hyundai pitch arsenal. The cutter, he's throwing it more this year, and it's been a very effective pitch for Mike. Nearly 27% of the time. Billy Hamilton, the switch hitter, the speedster for Cincinnati, will lead it off. Hitting .252. This has been his better side of the plate. .261 from the left side. .222 from the right side. Hamilton, Cozart, and Votto. Duvall, Schebler, who has just killed the Cardinals this year. Jeanette, Peraza, Barnhart, and the pitcher. And the first pitch is a ball. Hamilton leads the National League in steals with 28. And as a team, the Reds lead the National League. The 2-0 pitch. Popped up left side. Jerko gives it a look, and it's out of play. Well, the Cardinals in game 1 of this series had a lead, couldn't hold it. And it was Hamilton in that 7th inning dropping down a bunt, got things going. 2-0 at that point. Became 2-2, and then an eventual 4-2 lead for Cincinnati and a win. Carlos Martinez was magnificent. Game 2, Scooter Gennett, 17th player to hit 4 home runs in a game, and a really tough loss last night. Little bouncer hit to the right side, gloved by DeYoung, and there's one away. A look at the Cardinals defensively. Pham in left, Fowler back in there with the start in center. Piscotty is in right. Jerko, Diaz, DeYoung, Carpenter on the infield, and Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Here's Zach Cozart. Very well could be an all-star and probably should be this year for Cincinnati. And he pulls it foul. Second in the league in average at .351. Leading the league, Ryan Zimmerman at 362. Ground ball that's hit to short, backhanded by Diaz. 2 away. Take a look at our Toyota keys to the game. Mike Leake can get to that 7th inning. Have to be a little leery about it because his ERA is 11. 7th inning and beyond.
Seems to be the problem with the St. Louis Cardinals in general, is just keeping that lead after 6 innings has really haunted them this year. And you know, we keep trying to pinpoint what it is and why, but if you look, it's kind of everything, you know. And Mike Leake's having a good year, and then 7th inning's giving him trouble, and 7th inning's giving everyone trouble the last couple days.
Base hit for Votto. What a hitter. Do you remember him when you were playing here in Cincinnati, choking up as much as he is this year?
No, I have not. It seems like he's done it in situations, but I feel like he's a lot more exaggerated this year, and especially when he gets a guy that's throwing hard, he's even more so. I mean, it's almost like he's 3-4 inches up on the bat.
Here's Adam Duvall. He is 6th in the National League in RBIs with 45. And this has turned out to be a very good deal for the Cincinnati Reds. They traded Mike Leake to San Francisco to get Duvall, who had always shown power in their system but never really got a chance. A couple of years ago, Giants going for it, adding Leake at the trade deadline. 1 ball, 1 strike. One thing about Mike Leake, doesn't walk many, doesn't strike out many, so defense has got to be good. The ball will be in play. And the 1-1 pitch. Little flare into right, and it drops in for a base hit. Votto on his way to 3rd. Back-to-back singles for the Reds here in the bottom of the 1st.
Mike makes a great pitch right here, and this is just part of the things that are going wrong. You make a really good pitch, and you can see it looked like Stephen Piscotty is pretty deep in that situation, but obviously a day game, the ball flies here. It's just part of the issues, is always something on the negative side. You make a good pitch, get a base hit. Get a guy the other night, jam shot, base hit, runners move up. So now you got pressure just because you made a good pitch, and that's what gets frustrating for some of these pitchers.
Here's Schebler, and a ground ball that's hit to DeYoung. Red strand 2, no damage done. 1 inning in the books here in Cincinnati. There's no score. Mountain frozen drinks, any size drink, just 50 cents. The next day at On the Run. Redbird scores 6. Keep the celebration going. Stop by On the Run tomorrow for a thirst-quenching win. You earned it. Jed Jerko will lead it off. He is 9th in the National League in average at 314. Top 5 in road average at 341. 8 home runs. He's driven in 23. Molina on deck, and then Tommy Pham. And we're underway here in the top of the 2nd. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Popped up and out of play. Well, you played a lot of games in this ballpark, visitor and wearing that Reds uniform. You talked about the sunshine on the backdrop. So here we have a day game, and also you think about it defensively. This is always a ballpark that sees its fair share of home runs. And certainly when it starts to get hot here in Cincinnati, the ball just flies out of here.
Yeah, the ball starts to carry as the weather warms up, and you can even see the nice thing about this ballpark too is kind of see the right there, the flags in the background. You always get a little breeze because of the river. For some reason it comes right down the river, and it usually is blowing out to right field, which in short porch it's still, and it makes it even better because I think this is a great place to hit.
2-2 the count. Jerko with tremendous power to the opposite way. They set up outside. Count runs to 3-2. Full count here on Jed Jerko. Out of play. Last night it was the 14th time this year the Cardinals lost a game in which they led by at least 2 runs. Furthering the point that it's not just Leake in the 7th inning, but the entire team.
A lot of little things build up, add up over time, and when you make that many mistakes, it tends to catch up with you.
Cozart retires Jerko for the first out, so that's 4 up and 4 down for Scott Feldman.
You know, I mean, making mistakes. I'm just talking about the little things when you don't get a runner over or you don't get a runner in with less than 2 outs, and a base running mistake here and an error here and there, and then really just like I said, things just add up. And I feel like for me it's the momentum builder that they're not getting. They're not getting that run in the 4th and then the adding on in the 6th and the 7th, and it's almost like you're keeping the team that you're playing around in the game, and they always have a chance to catch up, and then one walk and a bloop, and you know, it's like a bloop and a blast, and all of a sudden here we go again.
Votto to Feldman. 2 strikeouts and now 3 ground ball outs to start this afternoon. Brings in Tommy Pham. Feldman is from Hawaii. 41 players have played in the major leagues from Hawaii. Colton Wong nearly 500 major league games. That's 6th most among Hawaiian born players. And for Feldman, he's closing in on 200 career starts. 5th most starts among a Hawaiian born player. Number 1 is Charlie Huff. Knuckleballer was a 216 game winner.
Never knew he was from Hawaii.
Yep.
It's not a bad place to be from.
No, sir. That's about as good as it gets. Two balls and a strike on Pham. He was in center last night, left field today. The 2-2. It's been a much maligned starting staff here for the Cincinnati Reds, but you wouldn't know it in this series.
Done a really good job. What you've seen too is not a lot of guys with velocity, guys moving the ball around, keeping you just a little bit off balance, and then turning it over to a bullpen who's pretty much full of flamethrowers.
Good start for Feldman. 6 up, 6 down. No score midway through 2. Third member of our broadcast crew, Jim Hayes. Let's check in with Jimmy.
Yeah, Matt back in the leadoff spot this afternoon, and he says he sees the irony in that. With Fowler sitting out last night, Carpenter hit leadoff. He said before the game he was concerned that if he had a good night, the narrative would be it was because he was back at the top of the order. Then he went out and hit a home run. Today, Carpenter hitting leadoff, Fowler batting second. Carpenter told me he hopes Fowler has a big day, so as he put it, the new narrative will be Dex hitting second is just the fix we needed. Fowler's last 290 plus starts have been as a leadoff hitter. Mike Matheny told us before the game Dexter saw this coming, was even joking about it in the dugout last night after Carpenter homer.
All right, Jimmy, thank you. And here's Scooter Gennett. Speaking of home runs, 4 in one game, just the 17th player to do that 2 nights ago in Major League history. I think the way you described it when Carpenter hit that home run last night, you said that's going to give Mike Matheny a headache.
It really does.
A swing and a miss, and Molina fires a strike to Carpenter for the out.
It's always a game that you play with the lineups, and you're always trying to get a group of guys that are hot, obviously in the game each day, but try to put them in the right spot in the order so they can feed off each other. And then when you have a guy like Matt Carpenter, that you really have a guy that can drive in runs and do so many things with the bat, and you move him down into the 3-hole. Sometimes when you bounce guys around and then they get successful, you can't do anything but stick with it.
Strike to Jose Peraza. Good looking young player for the Reds. Can play all over the infield, little bit of outfield. Hitless though in this series, 0 for 7. Brandon Phillips, that deal to Atlanta opened up the door at second base for Peraza. He signed as an international free agent with the Braves, spent time with LA, and was in the Todd Frazier deal, 3-team trade. In Atlanta though, blocked by, at the time, Andrelton Simmons. So now with Phillips gone, the idea would be that he could be an everyday second baseman or even a shortstop, depending on what happens with Zach Cozart. Reds have a promising young prospect for second base, Dilson Herrera, and he was a part of the Jay Bruce deal. 2-2. Little tapper that rolls foul.
Kind of a good problem to have. Got a guy who's in the big leagues and can play anywhere and anywhere and play the position well, and then you got people coming up right behind him. So it's one thing that, talking to Walt Jocketty the other day, said something about when you're going to make a deal, even if it's the benefit of, let's say, the Matt Adams deal or any kind of deal that kind of comes up last minute, you got to get something that you're going to use in the future. You know, sometimes you just don't make a trade just because you want to free up a guy. He said sometimes you have to go against your gut instinct on letting a guy go because you might need him down the line. Because I asked him, I was like, you ever feel sorry for a guy who's stuck in an organization? And he said, no, you really can't look at it that way. You really have to use him as a commodity, and if you're going to let a guy like that go, you got to get something in return.
Hit sharply left side, spinning Jerko up. Nice play. Takes a hit away from Peraza. And with that, there's 2 down.
Nice little play by Jed right here. Just nice low center of gravity, getting that ball, throwing a strike over to first base. And sometimes those day games are tough on the infielders, especially with that cement wall back there. Ball blends in a little bit.
Here's Tucker Barnhart, switch hitter. Fastball misses outside. 268. 1 home run. He's driven in 6. Mike Leake comes into today's start, 3rd in the league in ERA, 2.64. Trailing only Max Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw now at 2.20. Lance Lynn, after last night's start, is 6th in the National League. ERA under 3. Looked to be a pretty good pitch. That's tapped foul. RBI Baseball 2017 returns with fast-paced pick-up and play MLB action. All your favorite teams and players. Learn more at rbigame.com. The 2-2. The 3-2 pitch is pulled foul. And a souvenir for that young man. Schools are out. Crowds are bigger around the game right now. Kids coming down to the ballpark. Eighth pitch of this at bat. We'll go to a ninth.
I was a little surprised when I saw the crowd today versus the last couple of nights. You would think that you would see a smaller crowd during the middle of the week at 12:35 than the last couple of nights.
3-2 pitch. Lined into center field and a base hit. I think where Leake is frustrated is on the 1-2 pitch. Got called a ball. Looked to be a very good pitch, and he never really shows up an umpire or ever a teammate, but he kind of looked back into Bill Welke and wondered, all right, where's that pitch?
You look at the Fox tracks right there. He pretty much threw everything he had in his arsenal, in, out, up, down, and then had to finally throw a pitch over the plate and got a jam shot for a base hit. But you're right, it's like you make a good pitch, you want to get that out, get it over with.
Scott Feldman is now 0 for 21 on the year, bouncing back to Mike Leake. Coming up for the Cardinals, Diaz, DeYoung, and Leake. There's no score. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Find a servicing Steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search STIHL. And by your local St. Louis area Volkswagen dealers.
I love you, partner, but if I had my chance, I'd be right there on that boat.
Well, just go ahead.
That is all me right there, buddy. You know how I like the water. Can you imagine just a nice Thursday afternoon, cruising right up the river? It'd actually be a pretty special place if this was kind of like wide open, like in the old days. They had, like, when I was growing up in Angel Stadium, you could drive past the stadium on the freeway and see into the ballpark. It's kind of cool.
Here's Diaz, lines it to left, and the catch is made. Duvall came in, had to go back in, makes the catch. Or you could just pull up your boat in Pittsburgh at PNC and park, get out, get your ticket, and check out a baseball game.
Not so bad either. San Francisco?
Yep.
It's too bad you can't really see into the ballpark from the water.
So Feldman has retired the first 7 he's seen. The rookie now, Paul DeYoung, had a double last night down to the third base line. Feldman, originally a 30th round selection by Texas in 2003. Debuted with the Rangers in 05. In 2003, Delman Young was the first overall pick. That's Dimitri's brother. And Dimitri played for both the Cardinals and Reds. You may recall that St. Louis traded Dimitri Young to Cincinnati for Jeff Brantley. Now works for the Reds on their radio broadcasts. He was insurance behind Dennis Eckersley. Two 1 pitch. Cowboy.
There he is. Probably got his cowboy boots on right now.
On the right, Jeff Brantley. Jim Kelch on the left. Three 1 pitch. Out of play. 2003, the Cardinals drafted Derek Barton, who had success in Oakland, and he was part of the Mark Mulder deal. Brought the big lefty to St. Louis. 3-2. Last time the Cardinals played 7 games on a road trip and lost all 7 was 2007. Doesn't happen very often. We'll be back home tomorrow night. Cardinals will take on the Phillies, and the Reds head out west. Weekend series with the Dodgers. Feldman, a nice play. Underhands to Votto. June 15th, it's the U.S. Open. You can see that on Fox FS1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. June 15th from Erin Hills. Here's Mike Leake. Reds know that he can swing the bat. This year batting just 160. One ball and one strike. Leake 4 for 25 this year. You look at Mike Leake, not a big guy, not imposing, but yet great athlete and can swing the bat.
Just going to say, you get a good pitching lesson. You watch these two guys today. Both of them do not throw the ball up in the zone very often. And you see right there another good pitch down and away. But it just goes to show you the velocity is not always everything. Look at, you don't really see the ball in the upper half of the strike zone from either one of these two guys. A little bit of movement going in both directions. Just get some ground balls and keep working through the inning.
Tough play here, and that's Peraza showing off the glove. Scott Feldman, 9 up, 9 down, and helping his own cause. Little glove work. Leake and Feldman could be fun today. Well, fans enjoying a little sunshine. Beautiful day here in Cincinnati. Maybe not even taking in the game. As Jim Hayes likes to say, fellowship. The Kia in the driver's seat. Last 2 seasons against Cincinnati. Last year, tough going for Mike Leake. 4 starts, 7.25 ERA, and this year 1.29, and that's your Kia in the driver's seat. Here's Billy Hamilton showing bunt and looks at a strike. We're underway here in the bottom of the 3rd. Leake is averaging only 14 pitches per inning. That's 5th fewest in the major leagues. That's a reason why he stays and goes deep into these games. He's gone deep into a number of his starts this year. Last ball game pitched into the 7th. Kyle Schwarber, a grand slam.
Let me guess, in the 7th.
Yes, sir.
Lucky number 7.
He's given up 3 home runs, and they've all been backbreakers too in the 7th inning. Adonis Garcia, 3-run homer for Atlanta. Jackie Bradley Jr., a 2-run homer. Leake gloves, throws, and makes the play. And then Schwarber's grand slam over the weekend. Mike Matheny asked about his decision to pull Lance Lynn, and we said at the time, you never know what's going on down there. Maybe something was affecting him, but he said no, we were just going for offense, and they did pick up a run, but you're asking your bullpen to get 12 outs. Didn't work out.
It's the hard thing about the managerial spot is whatever move you make, you're going to get second guessed, and then of course when it doesn't go right, makes it even tougher. But you can only throw the players out there and hope that they perform. And I feel like this year, whatever button he pushes sometimes just isn't working out for him, and it's making him look like he's struggling, and it's just really, sometimes you look at it from the front office down, even with the general manager. I mean, you put a good team on the field, you throw your manager out there, and you have a good spring training, and all of a sudden things just don't work the way you thought they were going to work, and so you can't really regroup. You can't just throw everybody out the window and start over, because no one's going to help you out, so to speak, during the beginning of the season.
You got to figure it out. Strikeout of Cozart. He's 0 for 2. And with baseball, it's such a grind. You know, here we were less than 24 hours ago watching that late innings unfold and really collapse for the Cardinals. But with baseball, the next day you gotta get ready. You gotta get ready to play.
Yeah, you really just can't let it linger. And that's what we were talking about last night. And for me, when I was saying, like, you can't allow yourself to be that team of guys that says, oh, here we go again. Like, you have to figure out a way to change it. You got to be, someone's got to be that guy to step up and say, I'm not allowing this to happen tonight, or I'm going to be the guy that starts the rally this inning and really try to reverse all of that negativity.
Here's a 1-1. Check swing again by Votto. Did you talk much hitting with Joey when you were here?
Joey doesn't talk much. I'm kidding, but no, not really. He really is. He sticks to himself, and that's why I think when we talked about him helping out the younger players this year, it was a pretty big story, because he's notorious for just kind of sitting there and concentrating on his own gig and going about his business.
Votto is 2 for 2. Both hits to center field. Brings in Adam Duvall. He singled to right first time up. So Leake has struck out 2, has not walked a man. He's given up 4 hits. Duvall, very good numbers against Leake. Time is called by Yadier Molina. Cincinnati a year ago, they finished up 68 and 94, but they were 1 game under 500 in the second half of the season. The first half, they were 32 and 57. And some big names are gone. Cueto, Bruce, Leake. Ground ball left side, deep in the hole. Diaz, no play.
A little bit of maturity right there, maybe out of Diaz. I think maybe last year he might have tried to throw that ball. Those are kind of the things we talk about as you progress. You have to realize when you make that play and when not to, because you throw that ball away, that can start that, oh my gosh, here we go again feeling. And just a nice play that you have to just eat that ball right there and just take what the game gives you and go to the next hitter and try to get another ground ball.
Here's Scott Schebler. After the base hit by Duvall, he came up with runners at first and third in the first, grounded out to second. Another home run last night. He's already hit 4 against the Cardinals this year. Off the end of the bat to Leake. Steps and throws. Red strand 2. They've left 5 on. We head to the 4th. Cincinnati and St. Louis. The top of the lineup coming up. And there's no score from the Great American Ballpark. And the Reds. T-Mobile unlimited baseball break. Clayton Kershaw yesterday against Steven Strasburg. 7 innings, 3 hits, struck out 9. And the Rockies have won 4 straight. Up next, they'll be at Wrigley Field. T-Mobile unlimited baseball break. Rockies are 38 and 23. 2-game lead over Arizona and Los Angeles. Milwaukee 1-game lead in the Central over Chicago. Cincinnati 3 back. The Cardinals 4.5. Pittsburgh 5.5. And Washington an 11.5 game lead over Atlanta and the Mets. Let's see what type of adjustments Feldman makes, and also the lineup of the Cardinals. Second time through. Carpenter bounced into the shift, grounded out his first time up. One ball and 2 strikes. Hit out of play. Two again. Carpenter base hit into center in the first Cardinal hit. Jimmy, he was saying the other day he felt that he was underneath and behind on a lot of his swings.
Yeah, and I was just watching Feldman right there. He's mad at himself. Threw that fastball inside with 2 strikes and it ran back over the plate. But Matt's been battling a little tinkering with some things here and there, and said he was at one point he was getting his back turned to the pitcher too much, which was causing him to be a little bit longer to the ball. And last night or 2 nights ago, I was talking to some of the scouts and they thought he was on his heels too much, and that's because he was trying to fix the part where he was turning so much and maybe over exaggerating it. Now he's back on his heels and trying to stay flat. I think sometimes, like we saw last night with the swing, it got a little shorter. Sometimes the guys that move the ball around and you just got to sit there and wait to see what he's going to throw you is a good thing for a hitter when he's struggling like this, instead of just getting a flamethrower out there when you're trying to catch up the fastballs all day long.
0-2 the count on Fowler. He has 8 home runs, all 8 from this side of the plate. 7 of the 8 have given the Cardinals a lead at some point. Short lead at first by Carpenter. Only 1 stolen base this year. In the dirt and kept in front by Barnhart. Scott Feldman was in the game that so many of us remember. Game 6 of the 2011 World Series. And it really was such a bad game for so long. There were 5 errors, pick off at third, 2 wild pitches, 2 pass balls. Slowly hit to the right side off the bat of Fowler. And yet it turned out to be one of the great games in World Series history. And Feldman was on the mound, 1 out away from sending the Cardinals home and winning the World Series. Lance Berkman a base hit in the 10th. Cardinals were trailing at that point 9-8. That would score John Jay and they'd win the game thanks to David Freese 10-9. One of the most remarkable games in the history of baseball. Here's Piscotty. Right now you can make a case he's the Cardinals' hottest hitter. And a pitch low and outside.
Just want to talk about having a couple days off will do for you. Steven had to go home for a few days, come back, and I think he's been pretty much hitting ever since. And that little break is, we talk about taking a day off, but that 2-day break for some reason is like so much better than having 1 day. I don't think you can really fully grasp what's going on with the 1 day, and that's why you see a lot of guys sitting out the day game before a off day. Get that extra day. I would take that chance and I wouldn't even touch the bat or a ball for the entire day, and then you have the off day, you go home and feel like a new person. It's weird how that works.
Those numbers brought to you by BJC, the difference maker. Here's a 1-1 pitch inside. 2-1 is hit down the left field line, but foul. Right now the Cardinals in the midst of their second longest losing streak under Mike Matheny, the longest a 7-game skid back in July of 2013. The 2-2 pitch. Breaks his bat. Slowly hit to Votto. Feldman covering the bag at first, advancing to third. Carpenter. And there's 2 away.
You can see he's sneaky, hiding the ball, cutting the ball, running the ball. He's giving these guys fits today and getting a lot of contact with jam shots, and he's been making some really good pitches in off the plate. Sometimes when you're trying to hit against a guy when you know he's only throwing 90, you try to like load up a little bit and try to provide some more power, or you take advantage knowing that he's not throwing that hard, and that's when you get yourself in trouble. And you see a little bit of run here, sink there, really handcuffing a few of these guys.
So 2 outs, runner at third, and the batter is Jed Jerko. Outfield deep, straight away. First pitch is swung on and missed. Jerko first time up, grounded out to short. The 2006 Cardinals had a 7-game losing streak and 2 8-game losing streaks.
Just trying to make it exciting.
Well, you did. That's for sure. Here's the 0-1. This time last year, Jed Jerko, Cardinals trying to figure out where to put him, get him some at bats, keep him sharp, primarily against lefties. And he pops 30 home runs, and now the everyday cleanup man.
Another cutter right there. It's like it's going to be a fastball away, and that's what I'm talking about. That's the ball that a lot of guys, right-handers, throwing to lefties. You don't want that ball to run back over the plate. And same kind of thing when you're throwing to righties, especially a guy with power. You want to be able to keep the ball on that side of the plate. You don't want to miss and have that ball run back over the heart. You have to determine as a hitter, as soon as he lets go of the ball, which way it's going to go. And guys that predominantly a sinker ball pitcher or a guy that gets a good run, you're expecting that ball to run back at you, and then by the time you start to swing and realize it's a cutter, it's too late.
So 2-2 the count. Swing and a miss and a strikeout for Feldman. His third of the day. He's allowed just 1 hit, the single to Carpenter. We're scoreless here in Cincinnati. Him offensively starting to turn around a bit. With more on that, let's check in with Jim.
Dan, as you pointed out, a very good road trip for Steven offensively as well. 7 hits, 6 walks, back-to-back multi-hit games. He told me the main thing is avoiding the trap of trying to do too much and to not worry about what people are saying so you can stay positive. He told me he's made a slight mechanical change in his swing, which allows him to see the ball better. He also said mentally he's in a good place considering the circumstances. He said he's always thinking about his mom, Gretchen. He told me what she is going through really put this game and life in perspective for him.
Well, there's no doubt. Base hit by Scooter Gennett. I think of concern right now with Piscotty has been his defense, which is surprising. I mean, Steven had the ball in Chicago that got away on Sunday night. He also had a game one that was lost in the sun. Normally a very reliable defensive player, but things happen. Base hit by Scooter Gennett. He's 1 for 2. The oddity of the other night with Scooter was that he had never hit 4 home runs in any month of his major league career. Not a game, but a month.
Not a game.
Remember the second swing of the fourth home run at bat. He basically went to his knees. Remember that?
Came out of his shoes, yes.
Well, we thought he did, and he said actually what happened was that ball scoots away, but Jeanette stays put. He said his batting glove was coming off the bat, and so when he was trying to swing, everything was out of whack. Bat got way out in front because the bat was coming out of his hands, and that's when he went down on a knee.
It's one way to slow him down right there. Just pick over and throw it at his legs. Yeah, you know what's funny is sometimes too, I thought that he got his cleat caught. You know, we make fun the guy's got 3 home runs, and of course he's going to try to hit another one, but you always try to keep it under control, and you see that swing and you think, oh, he's going for it, but I kind of thought he just got stuck.
Base hit into left. Peraza, and the first 2 are aboard.
It's a weird dynamic sitting up here doing Cardinals baseball, watching that unfold. Can't help but sometimes think kind of cool in a way to see history, but yet at the time obviously don't want to see any more runs across the board for the Reds.
You're a baseball fan, pretty neat moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Only 17 have done it. Here's Tucker Barnhart. Well, Leake certainly can get out of this inning. You think about the double play, and then Feldman, who's 0 for 21 on the year, coming up after Barnhart. It's a pitch out of a jam. Runners at first and second.
Been in plenty of those meetings on the mound. Stuff starts to get out of control, and pitching coach would literally just walk out there and just say, hey, you're 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning, or 1 pitch away from, you know, getting a double play, and like you said, facing the pitcher. So can never really get too wrapped up in what's behind you. It's almost what's going forward and what you're going to do with what you have in front of you.
2-0 the count.
My rookie year, I played first base for the Angels. And JT Snow got sent down, and the first thing I do remember is running out on the field. Right before I ran out on the field for the first time, our coach said, hey, just remember, Finley and Langston don't like to talk, so don't go to the mound. I was like, thanks.
I'll remember that.
Don't go out there no matter what. So then when the coach goes to the mound, I'm almost afraid to even go over there when he's there.
3-0 pitch. And a walk. Bases are loaded. This weekend and this Saturday, the Reds kick off to summer weekend at Busch Stadium. Cardinals take on the Phillies. 30,000 fans, 16 and older. Get a fashion boost with a one-of-a-kind Cardinals all over print shirt. Don't miss out. Cardinals.com/promotions. Back-to-back singles. Jeanette, Peraza, now a walk to Barnhart. They're loaded for Feldman. And there's a strike.
I'd like to see an at bat like the first time. Maybe this time instead of a 1-3, I'd like to see maybe a 1-2-3 double play.
Well, Scott Feldman against St. Louis, including today, has now thrown 10 innings, no runs. Against everybody else, 59 2/3 this season, 33 earned runs and an ERA near 5. Oh, 0-2 the count. We talk about positioning of outfielders, especially when you're on these games and you look at Tommy Pham with the pitcher up hitting from this side of the plate, might be too deep.
Yeah, I'd like to see them all move in a little bit if it was up to me, especially Tommy.
0-2 pitch, and he struck him out.
That's a good pitch right there. A good cutter. That's what I'm talking about. When you're a hitter, You have to make, you see this pitch inside, and like the old Greg Maddux backdoor or front door fastball, you know it's coming. And so you got to cheat a little bit to get to it, and then you get that one, which is the cutter, and it goes the other direction and end up swinging a pitch that's almost behind you by the time it's done. Not fun.
This could be a very important at bat in this game. We look back on it because the infield is in, the speed of Hamilton, bases loaded. A lot of hitting lanes for him.
This is one of those times too, as an infielder, I think you got to really pay attention to what's going on the field, and not necessarily have to get the double play, but have to get an out. And so you might just try to cut down the run at the plate, knowing how well Billy Hamilton runs.
Here's the 0-1. One ball, one strike. Molina and the home plate umpire Bill Welke having a conversation. Hamilton didn't go after it, and Leake looking back in to see, hey, where's this pitch?
God, you like to have this pitch right here, even though it's right on the edge. Just such a good pitch. He's been making good pitches, just not getting anything out of them.
The 2-1. 3-1.
You watch closely. He's been throwing everything out there. Both sides of the plate. Ball's running on tailing one time, cutting the other time. He's in a changeup and a breaking ball. He's trying to bounce the breaking ball. He's doing everything he has to try to get through these innings.
3-2. Including today, 78 innings for Mike Leake and only 13 walks. Ground ball, that's fair. Steps on the bag. Molina applies the tag. It's a double play. Huge double play turned by Matt Carpenter and the Cardinals. Stepped on the bag. The tag on Jeanette, and the Cardinals and Leake out of a jam. No score as we head to inning number 5. That's struggling. A play like that maybe jumpstarts this club. Momentum maybe shifting a little bit.
That's a really big play, actually, and I walked away after that inning thinking that couldn't have been a more perfect double play in that situation. And like I talked about, like, you have to think through that stuff in the inning, especially because of Hamilton's running. Anyone else, you don't worry about it, but because of that guy running, extra pressure on the defense, and to get that kind of double play is perfect. And like you said, hopefully turn some things around.
Hit out of play, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Danny, that could have been that situation right there. The here we go again.
Yes.
You know, even if, let's say that ball hits the bag, or there's not a guy, Carp's not playing in, just a bloop single, anything, and it can really ruin the locker room.
And a base hit for Yadier Molina, the Cardinals' second hit of the afternoon. That's how we start play here in inning number 5. The State Farm double play started by Carpenter. He steps on the bag, so then Molina has to apply the tag. Well done. So here's Tommy Pham, grounded out to second. 0 for 1 today. Pham, the fly ball into right. Shepler is there. Molina back to the bag at first, and there's 1 away. even there, that late run, just enough to jam Tommy Pham, and that's what you've been talking about all day.
And that brings up another point too. It's when you don't know which way the ball is going to go, you tend to wait just a little bit longer and try to see before you react. And sometimes, like right there, you wait a little too long to attack instead of really start your swing and then make the decision to either hold up or go after it. You kind of wait a little too long to make the decision to swing at it, and then you get jammed. That's why hitting is so ridiculously tough. I mean, it's literally keeps you up at night thinking of all the different things that have and could go possibly wrong during the course of a game.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Aledmys Diaz. You one of those guys that went back to the hotel room, got in front of the mirror, looked at the stance, the setup. There's guys that do it all the time.
No chance.
You were not one of those guys.
No, but I would come out the next day at 1 o'clock and hit for an hour straight.
Yeah.
Until I couldn't hit anymore. He used to chase me off the field some days. He was like, hey, that's enough already. Like, go inside and relax.
Here's a 1-1 instead of check on Yadier Molina. Molina and Pham lead the club in stolen bases with 5 apiece.
I know you know this, but it might shock you. I didn't like to really watch myself. I didn't really like to look in the mirror and see. And then I always thought, oh, my stance looks weird, or this doesn't look right. And that'll play with your head even more.
Catch made by Votto, 2 down. You can't catch the games on television. You can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports Midwest and Cardinals baseball with you wherever you go. Now Carpenter is one of those guys. He'll go back to the hotel and look at his hands, look at his setup. And he's not the only one. There's a lot of players that do that.
I remember when guys would a guy would be carrying a bat out of the locker room onto the bus. I'm like, what the heck are you doing? Oh, you know, I'd like to just kind of check it out when I get home at night. I'm like, spend all day at the ballpark. Sometimes you get here at 1 o'clock on the road. You don't leave until 11 o'clock at night. You got enough time right there to go in the back room and look in the mirror. Can't imagine going at home and doing that in your hotel room.
Strike 2 to Young. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bounce back to Feldman, first time up.
Be a really good time for a homer for him.
DeYoung pops it up. Barnhart near the screen and just enough room. Makes the play. Cardinals strand their second runner of the afternoon. Pitchers duel with Feldman and Leake. Tomorrow, on that day, 30,000 fans 16 and older take home a bobblehead of the 1967 National League MVP Orlando Cepeda, courtesy of AAA. Cards and fills, Cardinals.com/promotions. Huge double play with the bases loaded, 1 out back in the bottom of the 4th to end the inning off the bat of Billy Hamilton. So now Leake starts fresh here in the 5th. We are scoreless from the Great American Ballpark. Jim Edmonds, Stan McLaughlin here in the booth. Also Jim Hayes is with us
right here in the booth.
Here's Zach Cozart. Grounded out to short, also struck out. Came into play today. Second in the National League in on-base percentage at .436. Behind Buster Posey. He's 7th in hits with 67. Charlie Blackmon with 83 of the Rockies to lead in the senior circuit. He leads the Reds in triples and doubles. He's had a magnificent start to his year. Fly ball to left. Catch made by Pham. So here we are again, Jimmy, one of these games that looks like it's going to be tight going late. And the Cardinals, they have gotten great starting pitching. 7th inning or later, we talked about it, the high ERA, and trying to finish off games. And a base hit for Joey Votto. 3 for 3.
You know, there's another aspect to that too, is what we're looking at is obvious right now. Cardinals only have 2 hits, so they've been struggling a little bit scoring runs. That puts added pressure on the pitcher, because now he's pitching trying not to make a mistake, and so that wears on you over time. And like the magic number jokingly is in the 7th inning, but think about you're pitching 6 innings of basically a tight ball game, and mentally it's got to be a little taxing. And so, you know, I think all that they really need is to get some runs early so the pitchers can coast. You saw yesterday what Lance Lynn was doing with the lead.
Drive into left center field. Votto racing to third. They'll wave him in. They miss the cut. Votto will score, and it's 1-0 Cincinnati. Adam Duvall drives in his 46th, and it's 1-0 Reds.
I mean, this is kind of exactly what I'm talking about right here. You know, you go after Joey Votto, he gets a hit, and you're literally 1 pitch away. Now it's 1-0. And it's a stressful environment for the pitchers to go out there knowing that they could only give up 1 run, 2 runs, and they're going to come out of a game losing.
If the relay is sharper, I think they may have had a play.
You're right. He might have had a chance for him. Joey Votto wasn't really running with some serious conviction right there. I don't think he really thought he was going to score.
Now Schebler hit by the pitch. Inning started with a line out by Cozart, single by Votto, RBI double by Duvall. Now Schebler hit by this pitch. It brings in Scooter Gennett. He was born here in Cincinnati. By the age of 9, he moved to Sarasota, Florida to play baseball year-round. And he's talked about playing for his hometown team, a dream come true. He's with Milwaukee till the very end of spring training. Released, and the Reds picked him up. 1 for 2 today. Struck out back in the 2nd, and a single to right in the 4th. Here's the 0-1.
I think Scooter Gennett might have overthought that first pitch right there. I think swinging the bat the way he's been swinging it, and knowing you're probably going to get a sinker, I got to take my chances right there. I don't know what he may be thinking by trying to bunt the ball, but sometimes, like you said, you make the game a little harder than it is, and I think he just tried to catch Jed Jerko off guard, but he's been swinging the bat pretty well. I take the chances with the bat.
No question. Oh, 2 pitch. Lined into right field for a base hit. Run will score, and it's now 2-0 Cincinnati. Gennett the other night, when he hit that 4th home run, that was on an 0-2 pitch, and he singles to right, drives in his 31st, and what a series he's had. Eric Lilliquist, the Cardinals pitching coach, out to visit. Runners at first and third, and still only one out.
Pretty good chance he went out there and said, hey, just one pitch away from getting out of this. Stay with it.
Jose Peraza grounded out to third, also a base hit to left field. Strike one. Pitch count at 78 for Mike Leake. Originally drafted by the Reds, never spent a day in the minor leagues, made the jump to the big leagues. And the 0-1. It's not often that you see a pitcher with a single digit. Leake wearing number 8 for the Cardinals.
I was trying to think of when I saw him the first time this year. Number 8. Infielders.
Yeah.
Hal McRae maybe was the hitting coach. Gary Gaetti. But then, I don't know if Gary Gaetti was here with number 8, because I think he was in Anaheim for a year or two with that number. But it is an oddball. I saw him walk by the first time and I was like, what the heck? What are you doing?
Year 2 of his 5-year contract with the Cardinals. And the 1-2. Runner goes. Throw by Molina is into center field. The 6th error this season for Yadier Molina. And it makes it a 3-0 Cincinnati lead. The way he threw that ball, Jimmy, makes me think that, I mean, this is rare when you see this, but he's thinking
I've ever
that.
seen this.
I just wonder if he's thinking that someone's cutting in front of the bag, which you'll see the Cardinals do an awful lot of with a runner at third.
I don't know if I've ever seen Yadier Molina make a throw like that. It was really bizarre.
A swing and a miss. Strikeout of Peraza. Six times on this current road trip, the Cardinals have allowed 4 or more runs in an inning. Intentional pass to Barnhart. And Scott Feldman, who is 0 for 2 and 0 for 22 this year, will be the batter. I don't think I've ever seen Molina do that, and it makes me think then that something went awry in how they were designing that play. You never know. Many times the middle infielder, in this case DeYoung, would be on the grass receiving that throw, so the throw may go through past the pitcher, but he's there. But that ball just sailed on Yadi. Or it could be just one of those things where he's not on top of the ball and it sailed.
I was trying to look at the replay to see if he just didn't get his feet to where he normally gets and then tried to make a play. And you know, we talk about it a lot, trying to do too much, trying to make up for all the mistakes that are going on the field. And because he's the captain, he's trying to make a play.
2 strikeouts for Leake, but 3 runs for the Reds. We head to the 6th. Scott Feldman back to work here in the 6th inning. Lead now of 3-0 for the Reds. Now time for AARP's Getting to Know Scott Feldman. Taught how to throw a changeup while working at a grocery store by his manager.
I saw that in the notes today that we were going to talk about that. And I almost feel like I was watching a movie, like when you're reading the teleprompter and they put something out there just to see if you'll read it. I was like, surely that can't be true. Just thinking to myself, I'm not reading that.
So you left it up to me.
Yeah.
Cardinals will use a pinch hitter, and it's Chad Huffman. Cardinals option John Gant, right-handed pitcher, back to the minor leagues prior to yesterday's game. And Huffman was called up. He's 32. This is his first major league appearance since his debut with the Yankees in 2010. Good for him. A lot of years in the minor leagues. 12th season professionally. 53rd overall pick by the Padres out of TCU. High school, college teammate of Matt Carpenter. Month of May, Huffman was hitting .317 with a couple of home runs and had driven in 11. But the highest on base percentage in all of AAA. .469. So he earned the call up. The 1-1. Saw a lot of Chad in spring training. Played a little outfield, some first base. Second season in the Cardinals organization. 3-1. So for Mike Leake, he will not pitch 6 innings, and first time he doesn't go into the 6th this year. Little bouncer that's hit to second base. Peraza makes the play. First out there in the top of the 6th. Want a great deal on Cardinals tickets? Fill up at Phillips 66, 8 gallons or more. Now until September 25th. Receive up to 50% off on a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. Carpenter 1 for 2, base hit to center. That was back in the 4th. First pitch, a strike. Kubota power stats. High slugging percentage. Leadoff hitter since 1914. Quite a list. Soriano, Blackman, Carpenter, Sizemore, and Bobby Bonds. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Two and 1 the count. And the next to Carpenter. Hits it down the right field line. It is hooking and foul.
You can even see there that Feldman is just doing a really good job of keeping everyone off balance. It's nothing straight, nothing's the same speed. Guys are either early, late, swinging at balls that end up out of the zone, down. There's really nothing that explodes, and no one's had to chase a pitch up in the zone. Just moving the ball around and keeping them off balance.
The 2-2. Got a piece of it, but held on to by Tucker Barnhart. Strikeout for Feldman is number 4. Margaritaville night is Friday, June 23rd. Purchase of a special theme ticket. Fans receive a Margaritaville inspired Cardinals t-shirt. There's a pregame concert, and those tickets can be yours at cardinals.com/theme. So 4 strikeouts for the right-hander. Scott Feldman has not walked a man, and he's allowed just 2 base hits. Dexter Fowler, strike 1. Called out on strikes back in the first, and also grounded out to second. Feldman is pitched with Texas, the Cubs, Baltimore, Houston, Toronto. Back in 2014, he was the Darryl Kyle Award winner in Houston. That means an awful lot to so many players. Last year in St. Louis, it went to Jonathan Broxton. And the 1-1. Fowler hits it the other way, but Duvall is there. And Feldman is through 6. Only 2 hits allowed. Tyler Lyons coming on when we come back. What's on Tap, presented by Budweiser. Back home tomorrow night. Jeremy Hellickson against Michael Wacha will come your way at 6:30 with the pregame show. And it's our Budweiser What's on Tap. Michael Wacha trying to get back on track in that start tomorrow night. Reds with 10 hits off of Mike Leake. 5 innings, 3 runs, struck out 5, 2 walks, one of those intentional. And the Cardinals turn it over now to Tyler Lyons. Billy Hamilton hits .222 from this side of the plate, .261 the other side. Hits it down the right field line and out of play. And this is our Chevy called to the pen. Hamilton is 0 for 3. Grounded out to second. Grounded back to Leake in the third. Bases loaded. Inning ending double play. That was in the fourth. With the struggles of Brett Cecil, and they're very cautious with how much they use Kevin Segrist. You saw the numbers there against lefties. Only 182 against Tyler Lyons. Makes you wonder, would you start using him in those higher leverage situations?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's definitely going to get a chance, because what they've been throwing out there hasn't been working out the way they wanted it to, and he's been doing his job. So it's funny, like Matt Bowman a couple years ago or last year, kind of just sneaks his way up, and the next thing you know, he's throwing in the 7th inning in big situations, and then off you go.
Good breaking ball, and a strikeout catches the corner. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks. He has got that nasty breaking ball.
See Billy Hamilton look back like, are you serious?
Here's Zach Cozart, hitless today. Little bouncer up the middle, backhanded by DeYoung, and the throw is offline and off the glove of Carpenter. Ruled a base hit for Zach Cozart.
Take that base hit. Talk about getting your feet set all the time, and you can see right here, kind of got his feet set nice and calmly, but then he tried to rush the throw with his arm, and that's when the ball sails on you. Did everything right there at the end, but just didn't stay aggressive with his body.
Joey Votto 3 for 3. And Votto hits it a ton out to deep right field. Piscotty back, and it's gone. 5-0 Cincinnati. Votto 4 for 4 on the day. Home run number 16, RBIs 47 and 48.
Just does it so effortless. Short swing, doesn't even really finish it. Your head on the ball and just bam.
The breaking ball of Lions, I think maybe you question, and it's hindsight 2020, but you throw the fastball to Votto. When you think of Tyler Lyons, you think of a great breaking ball that he possesses.
Well,
right, just like that.
You look back at Joey Votto's at bats too, and against the relievers, he's looking for that first fastball to hit. So he doesn't want to get to those specialty pitchers, because usually that second pitch from a reliever is a devastating breaking ball, change-up split. So if he sees a fastball first pitch, he's going to let it go.
So Votto and Duvall combined 7 for 7. 5 singles, double, home run, 2 runs scored, 3 RBIs. And the 0-2 pitch missed in. And the 1-2. Strikeout on the inside corner. The batter will be Scott Schebler. 2 strikeouts for Lions. Schebler hit by a pitch back in the 5th, grounded back to the pitcher, and also grounded out to second base. On the year, batting .250. There's that good breaking ball against the lefty. Cardinals now with a strike on Schebler, shifting with 3 on the right side of the infield. 0-1 pitch. A little bit high. Racing out for it, it's Diaz, and he puts it away. 2-run homer by Joey Votto, his 16th of the year. He's 4 for 4. And a 5-0 Cincinnati lead. Hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. And the Cardinals will have Piscotty, Jerko, and Molina. 5-0 the score, top of the 7th. And one of the stories today, Scott Feldman, just how well he has pitched. Only 2 hits allowed. He has struck out 4. And Piscotty pulls it foul for strike 1. Off the end of the bat and out of play. Well, you've been mentioning how Feldman has kept the Cardinals off balance. That last pitch, a good example.
It's just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Little add, little subtract. Ball's down, though. Everything's down and going both directions. It's like a little bit of, and you know the height might come into play too, because sometimes when you get a big tall pitcher, you expect him to throw hard. A little bit of Greg Maddux, you know, he's just kind of moving the ball around, and he's giving you the same pitch to hit, but it's going a different direction every time he throws it.
We showed the replay and the pitch that Piscotty was out in front. That was on the outer half of the plate. Then he comes in with a fastball running in on his hands. So 1-2 the count. And the next 2, Stephen Piscotty. There's a base hit into left center field. Cut off by Hamilton. Piscotty will stop at first base. Hamilton leads the National League with 6 outfield assists.
Might be one of the few pitches of the day that kind of stayed up a little bit. You can see that ball's just above the knees, and Scotty doing a good job of sticking with it, staying with it, trying to go up the middle.
Brings in Jed Jerko. He's 0 for 2 on the day. They start to stretch now in that Cincinnati bullpen. Pitch count at 91 for Feldman. Cardinals have been shut out only 3 times this year. One of those games was April 9th in St. Louis, and Feldman was on the mound, 6 innings, 4 hits, struck out 6 in that game. And the 1-0 pitch to Jed Jerko. In the air, out to right. Schebler near the line. Makes the catch. 1 away. Molina is 1 for 2. Cardinals did not get a base hit until the 4th. That was Matt Carpenter. He was left stranded. Molina base hit in the 5th. He was left stranded, and now a leadoff single by Piscotty. 1 out. And here's Yadi. Even there, a pitch with purpose. You get a right-hander to roll over on it, and that's a double play. Chevy Foxtrax.
Exactly what he's trying to do right there. Is he's trying to throw a ball with sink, make you reach for it. Basically, just to hit it to the shortstop or the second baseman for a ground ball double play.
2 balls and no strikes. John Brebbia is getting loose, the right-hander for the Cardinals in their pen. Austin Bryce, a right-hander for the Reds, has started to throw in their pen. The 2-0. Molina, base hit into left. So 2 on, and it brings in Tommy Pham. Pitching coach Mac Jenkins, 31st year in the Reds organization, and now the pitching coach here in Cincinnati.
See the pitch count right there. Pretty consistent day by Scott Feldman so far. Other than that 1 inning with 20 pitches, everything's been in the 10 to 15 range. Keeping the ball on the ground.
Last home run for Tommy Pham, most recent road trip, that was in Colorado. Runners at first and second. No balls, 2 strikes. But you look at that pitch count, and majority of these pitches have been when he's ahead in the count too. You know, he's been pitching ahead, a lot of strike one.
Strikes. Yeah, that's a good call, and that's a major difference in pitching ahead and pitching behind.
Big gap in left center, and the 0-2 pitch to the Cardinals left fielder. Inside. This weekend, the Cardinals have Walker going tomorrow. Carlos Martinez on Saturday, Adam Wainwright on Sunday. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Pham. Little bouncer hit to short, double play ball. 6-4-3 on the double play. And the threat is through for St. Louis. Time to stretch. 5-0 Cincinnati. Positive Coaching Alliance and its mission to develop better athletes, better people by working to provide all youth and high school athletes a positive character building sports experience. Visit foxsportsupports.com and you'll learn more. John Brebbia, right-hander for the Cardinals, third pitcher used in this game for St. Louis, and it is our Chevy called to the pen. Fifth appearance. He's done a nice job so far. Cardinals let go of both Jonathan Broxton and Miguel Sokolovic. And a chance for Brebbia.
Like about Brebbia is he's got a little movement, but velocity's been good. 93 to 95, sometimes a few 96s, but a good breaking ball. Got a chance to be a good pitcher here, especially when he gets opportunities to pitch more and more. Make the best out of it.
A swing and a miss by Scooter Gennett. He's 2 for 3, 2 singles and an RBI. Outfield straightaway. And a fly ball into left field. Tommy Pham wants it. First out. Jose Peraza is 1 for 3, grounded out to third, singled to left, and struck out back in inning number 5. Oh, 1 pitch. Fly ball lifted to Tommy Pham. So Brebbia has come in and retired the first 2. Tucker Barnhart, and he looks at ball 1. See that little girl in the front row, now she's having some fun, jumping up and down, and why not? Her Reds have a 5-0 lead as we head to the 8th. Brebbia, a 1-2-3, 5-0 our score. There's that little cutie. To the pen is Austin Bryce, acquired from the Marlins, along with a right-handed pitcher, Luis Castillo. That was the Dan Straley deal. Straley was here in Cincinnati and now with the Marlins, and so Bryce comes in. .102 Diaz hits it out to deep left field. This ball is off the top of the wall and then off of Duvall. Double for Diaz. His first hit of the afternoon.
Ball hits the top of the wall and comes down, hits him right in the leg. Not really how you want to play it.
No, sir.
Things happen out there in a hurry. You finally see Diaz get a good swing on the pitch over the plate and drive it off the wall.
Here's Paul DeYoung. And a foul ball. Bryce is 24 years old. He was born in China. And when the Reds acquired him in January, rated as the 9th best prospect in the Marlins organization. Had 15 relief appearances, 2 different stints with Miami a year ago. Opponents only hit 173 against him last year in the big leagues. Greg Garcia at the on deck circle. 0-2 the count on DeYoung. Seung-Hwan Oh, the Cardinals closer, was throwing, getting some work in, and DeYoung hits that out to deep left. Duvall on the track makes the catch. Diaz back to the bag at second. So here's Greg Garcia. Tomorrow night will come your way at 6:30. Hellickson and Walkup. So Brebbia, 1 inning of work. All zeros for him. And a ball to Garcia. Cincinnati picked up 3 in the 5th and 2 more in the 6th. They've out hit the Cardinals 12-5 in this game. Outfielders straight away, and the 1-0 pitch. This season, the Reds have already used 21 pitchers. The starters have struggled while their relief corps has improved this year. 3rd in the National League in ERA. Ground ball to first. Votto will take it himself. Steps on the bag. And there's 2 outs. Top of the lineup in Matt Carpenter. Matter of fact, their bullpen only has 4 blown saves, 2nd fewest in the National League. Colorado with 3. Carpenter is grounded into the shift, singled back in the 4th, and struck out swinging in the 6th. 1 for 3 on the afternoon.
They got some really nice arms down there in that bullpen. You see a guy like this comes in a 5-0 lead, usually maybe your mop-up guy, throwing 96 with sink. A couple lefties down there with 95, 97. Telling you what, we said it early on. I think this team is building in the right direction. Talked about early this season, beginning of the year when they were in town, and kind of like the way this club's going.
Mike Leake went 5 innings for the Cardinals today. Snapped his streak of 11 starts in a row of going at least 6. Last Cardinal with 12 or more was John Lackey. Here's a 1-1 pitch with 2 outs. Up and in. Michael Lorenzen and Wandy Peralta start to throw in the Reds bullpen. 0 for St. Louis. The 2-1 pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So the Cardinals today keeping Carpenter in the leadoff spot after a little bit of success last night with his home run. As you mentioned, you can tinker with a lineup, but you just can't all of a sudden turn it right over.
This makes it hard, and it also shows the players that might be panicking a little bit, searching. We all know that you're searching for something, but just to flip-flop everybody is just hard message to get away with. You don't want to send that message, and so you just try to tinker a little bit.
Full count, 2 outs, runner at third.
Still blows me away, and it's hard for me to believe that a guy like Matt Carpenter would hit 295 at the leadoff hole and then hit 220, 240 in second and third.
It's odd. 3-2 pitch. Carpenter, high fly ball, opposite way, it is gone. Second home run in as many days. His 11th of the year. He's now driven in 30, and the Cardinals get on the board. It's a 5-2 Cincinnati lead.
You gonna pencil him in tomorrow in the leadoff spot?
Yep.
You're starting to write up the lineup card.
So 2 hits today for Carpenter, takes that to the opposite field.
And finally someone got a ball up in the zone today to hit. See, this ball's even off the plate a little bit, but it's up, so you can go after it. Does a good job of staying behind the ball, just like we were talking about with Scooter Gennett the other day. Every ball that he hit, he was behind the ball with his body.
Fowler, a bouncer to Joey Votto. And the inning comes to a close. We'll move to the bottom of the 8th. Matt Carpenter with his 11th home run, RBIs 29 and 30. It's now a 5-2 Cincinnati lead. By Bud Light, famous among friends. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Great American Ballpark, and the Reds 3 outs away from a 4-game sweep. Seung-Hwan Oh is our Chevy called to the pen. Esmende Alcantara, the switch hitter, will pinch hit. 6 days of rest now for O, so he needs some work. First pitch up in the zone, but a strike. Reds have scored 28 runs in this series. That's the most against the Cardinals in a 4-game series since 1970. And a strike. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Alcantara. Taken high and outside. 2-2. Into shallow center field. Fowler is there, makes the catch. We've seen in this game Joey Votto go 4 for 4. 22nd time he's done that in his career. 4 hits in a game, 22 times. Zach Cozart extended his on-base streak to 30 with a base hit. And a lot of runs in this series for Cincinnati. Here's Billy Hamilton trying to bunt his way on. Jerko, nice play. The tag is there by Carpenter. Very fine play on both ends.
You got that right. Jerko makes a nice play. I like the play that Matt Carpenter makes, though. Doesn't panic and try to go over there and cross over the baseline right here. He just try and catch the ball and put the tag on him.
With 2 outs, it brings in Cozart. And a strike. Cardinals will have Piscotty, Jerko, Molina coming up. 3, 4, and 5 in the lineup. Cozart, base hit, run scored back in the 6th. Grounded out, flied out, struck out. Fastball right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gets him to reach, and a ground ball that's hit too short. Oh, a 1-2-3, bottom of the 8th. Sends us to the 9th. And coming up for St. Louis, the heart of this lineup, Stephen Piscotty, Jed Jerko, and Yadier Molina. Nice job out of the bullpen for the Reds as they try to finish off a sweep of 4 games against the Cardinals. Tarchevi called to the pen. One of the bright spots today for the Cardinals, Matt Carpenter, 2 more hits, batting leadoff. Picked up a home run. Now has 12 home runs and 51 RBIs in his career against Cincinnati. That's the most against any opponent in his career. Suarez takes over at third base. Here's Piscotty, base hit to left center, back in the 7th. Talking the other night just how tough Iglesias is turned into working out of the bullpen, throwing much harder, and right-handed batters, good luck. Only hitting 103 against him. Wow.
I like the fact that you said good luck. Well, what's interesting about him, though, we talked about the other day, is look at the run he's got. But he's one of those guys that can drop down and still bring 97. But he can drop down and throw the breaking ball, too. And unlike most guys, can only will drop down and throw 1 pitch.
Strikeout of Piscotty. Road trip that started in Chicago, 3 heartbreaking losses, a couple of more tough losses late as Jerko sends this one into right center, but Hamilton is there. And now St. Louis 1 out away from their 7th consecutive loss. Scott Feldman is our Budweiser player of the game. 7 innings, 4 hits, struck out 4 in 100 pitches, and kept the Cardinals off balance all afternoon long. On their feet here at the Great American Ballpark. And strike 1, 97 on the gun to Molina. Last time swept in a 4-game series in Cincinnati 2003. Winless on a 7-game road trip 07. To the count. And the next 2, Yadier Molina. Waves at it. Struck him out. It's a sweep for the Cincinnati Reds. 4 games over the Cardinals, and for St. Louis, 7 losses in a row and a winless road trip.
Another tough game today. Another inning or two, got away from him, couldn't keep it, couldn't come back from it. Just like you said, it's a tough road trip, tough day today. Really got to find a way to claw back into this race, get this team winning, and hopefully some home cooking will do it for them.
Another tough afternoon and day at the office for the Cardinals. Post-game show. It comes your way next.